What's up, class? My name's Cole Jordan.
And I'm Callan Halverson.
And
Today, our topic is poor communication and feedback. And we're both members of the Utah Valley baseball team. So we've been a part of groups our whole lives and like baseball team for sure. And we just want to talk about what bad communication, poor feedback looks like from our end and whatnot. So the main issues that we see with this organization is you can see the disconnect that it like you can see was understood, and the lack of mutual understanding can happen at interpersonal levels between your team members or the coaches. So underlying causes stem from lack of understanding, meaning the messages is not clearly given out by the coaches, and like the team members don't know what they're doing. A good example of this is just like punishment for any number of like tasks you have to do. Say like you have hitting groups and you don't like perform right, and he kicks you out of the group, but he doesn't tell you why. That can be a huge problem, and guys don't understand like where to get better and whatnot. So I just think like it's pretty big to be able to communicate effectively. And the consequences, I would say, stem from just like you have a low morale, and that can lead to missed opportunities, and you can learn and grow from each other. And these can be just opportunities to hang out with each other, especially in the field. You're supposed to be making good like moments with your friends, and that will last you a lifetime. So that can cause some of these problems. There's also a broken team culture, which never helps anybody, and you won't be able to accomplish very much if that culture is broken, and a lot of mistrust. And basically when you're playing or even working, trust plays a lot of, like into the role of being successful, because you got to be able to trust that somebody can do the work, because if you can't, then that takes away from your job. And ultimately you just want to need to do your job and just be able to do that effectively. And some more consequences I would say is like stressed, missed expectations, breakdowns in relationships, and just unsatisfied like fans, coaches, and ultimately yourself if you can't find out like what you want to do. And some problem solving that allows you to get more things done. Some things you can do when this is be able to define the problem, gather information, and generate possible solutions. And at the end, you evaluate ideas. And this can be done through team meetings, team group sessions, where you guys talk about what the goals you want to achieve at the end of the year and what you want to achieve individually. So that's basically some of the main issues that arise right here and what you can do to fix that.
why is this such a problem? I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of what Callan's saying. It brings down the team, the morale of the team. When you're going after something, as in the play, like a playoff run, conference championship, a national championship, you really need to be a close knit group of guys, and you need to be willing to go to war with these guys and run through a brick wall. And obviously, if there's problems or cracks throughout the foundation, then you're not going to be able to achieve these goals effectively. You still might be able to succeed in some aspects, but you're not going to be functioning at 100%. This also causes separation between individuals. I think with some of my personal experiences in the past, I've seen like different little cliques within the groups or organizations. So like when I show up to the baseball field, like these guys are hanging out with these guys are hanging out with these guys, and they don't really associate with each other. Where I think if we start giving feedback and you know defining the problem and talking about it, we could start bringing the team closer together versus drawing them apart, because obviously we all have the same goals and we're all working towards the same thing. This is a traditional manager-led team, and by that, we studied this in the team aspect of the class. And so basically, there's a manager who he's in charge of everything. He takes care of the problems. He's supposed to be the mediator, and he ultimately takes the blame for what happens as an organization. And he's also in charge of keeping people, cutting people, adding new people. And throughout other personal experiences, like some guys might have gotten cut and they don't know why, and some people might be added on, and we don't know why either. So it's communication and feedback to the organization as a whole is very crucial. So everyone has a better understanding and a clear mind of what exactly is going on and why it's going on. The desired future state, I mean, obviously future goals is we want to be a problem-free organization. I think little problems are going to arise here and there. I mean, in your, whether it be relationships, classes, sports, I mean, there's always going to be problems, but minimizing that and, ultimately getting to a problem-free organization is key. You also want to be able to trust everyone. Trust is one of the biggest things that you and a partner or an employee or a teammate can have. I mean, if I trust you, then, I'm willing to go to war with you. I'm willing to give you information that I wouldn't tell anyone else. So this just brings you closer together as a team. The third one's not just better teammates, but better people. I mean, eventually, we are playing sports now at a high level, but eventually we're going to be told that we're going to have to hang them up and we're not going to be able to play anymore. So becoming a better person is what the ultimate goal is. So if we can learn these life lessons, whether that be from coaches, teammates, or just acquaintances that we meet along the way, we're just to become better people in general. And when you're a better person, people treat you with respect, and that ultimately builds trust. That doesn't come from not giving someone feedback and not helping you out. That comes with truth telling and cutting to the chase and getting straightforward with that. Yeah, and the fourth note is basically piggybacking off that. I mean, successful individuals post-career in sports. I mean, odds are once we get told we're going to hang them up, we're going to have to go into the real world and get a job. And, you don't want to have this negative mindset. If you did have a poor experience in baseball, you don't want to take that over to your new career because, things could be totally different. And if there was a disconnect in the, sports side of things, what to do and how to fix it. Like, there was poor feedback and, all this poor organizational behavior in sports. I'm not going to bring that over to my new career. I'm going to do whatever I can to change that.
Yeah, so here's some SMART goals, some things that we went over in class over the semester. So starting off with S, some specific goals and we just make better listeners. Being able to listen and communicate effectively and figure out what the problem is ultimately like one of the biggest things you can do, because if you have like a teammate that has problems and doesn't know, like, you don't know how to fix it, then you have to be able to listen. And if you can't listen, then you won't be able to fix anything. That's another thing is like if someone wants to get extra work and they aren't getting extra work because they don't have anybody to work with, that needs to be something that's communicated with your teammate. And a measurable goal, I would say, is listen before we speak. A lot of times you have a lot of people that want to talk before, like, they don't even listen to the other side of the argument. They already have something loaded up and ready to say. So I think listening before you speak is something that we could all work on, not just in baseball, but especially in baseball when you're playing at such a high level and like the stakes are a little bit more, and you just got a bunch of different guys from different walks of life. And achievable goal is you can ask for clarification on a lot of things, especially with our coaches. We can, and especially our teammates, but coaches, I've seen a lot of times where there's been goals that you want to achieve, obviously like winning championships, but the coaches just don't effectively communicate like people's roles and stuff, and doesn't tell them. I mean, obviously you should be ready to go at any moment, but the biggest problem is people not knowing their roles and not knowing how important they are to the team. And I think everybody needs to know that their role is vital, and no matter how big or how small it is. And a realistic goal is to effectively communicate. I think that should be everyone's goal, is to be able to talk to anybody in the team, not have any cliques, as Cole said before, because that just creates divide and some tension. And I think everybody should be able to talk to everybody. I've been on teams where you could go during practice and talk to every guy in the team and have a good conversation. And I've had the opposite, and I'd take the first option every time. And for timely, it just speak positively to teammates, especially in the time where they might be down or something, like be able to lift them up in their time. I mean, obviously joking around and keeping things light is huge, but being able to keep things light and keep them just ready to go at all times and just lift them up when they need it is incredibly important. So I think those are some SMART goals that really have like we're good with teams and programs. For support, we're talking about how to like where we should specify goals and for people like on the team and what's like the most important, like where team things need to change. And I think for a broken culture, changing it starts at the top. And you'll see that when schools hire new coaches, like a new head coach, and they bring in a new staff. And if you bring in a coach that keeps everybody accountable, then that just sets the tone for the whole group, and everyone will want to do their part. You don't need certain guys leading the charge, and because that just kind of gets annoying when you have one guy always barking out orders, because we already have a coach, but you'd rather have a bunch of guys just leading their own like areas and groups and just kind of doing their own thing and everybody being accountable. The next part is like what we need to gain and from support from each other. We just want everybody wanting to lead. If you have that, you got a bunch of guys just doing the right thing on and off the field, getting extra work, and doing things right in the classroom, showing up on time, keeping others accountable, making sure they're making smart decisions off the field. And I think that's really crucial when it comes to a team and especially just a group organization, because everyone is wanting to do well individually, but it just goes to the next level whenever you're willing to help other people achieve their dreams too. And lastly, how we could describe or convince people in the organization to feel an urgent need and change. And that is basically just wanting them to be the best they can possibly be. And that will help inspire change to anybody. So I think when you throw in like change at the top, want everybody to lead and want everybody want to do their best, you can find the best support all around. So I think that's pretty important.
Some of the actions that we're going to take, this is kind of going to sum up the group project and what we've kind of been talking about. There's a little timeline. This is 2022. Obviously, this is the year we're still in right now, and these are future goals. But I think it starts with sitting down with each individual as a team or as a team and discussing the problems. I think one-on-one talk, I mean, not hiding behind a screen and texting someone about someone, and being there straightforward. And I think in a team setting is probably a little bit better because there's a lot more Q&A. Someone has a question, at least everyone can get to hear. But face-to-face communication and letting everyone know the standard and making sure that nobody drops below that standard is super important. The norming stage in Tuckman's model of group evaluation, it is high energy with group members committed to each other and the overall goal. I mean, this stage, obviously, this is what we learned throughout the year. I mean, it's just huge. I mean, when you have high energy, people are, excited to come to practice every day, excited to go play, excited to be with their teammates, and we're all committed to each other. I think that's probably one of the biggest parts. I mean, I'd rather be committed to one of my teammates than committed to winning a championship. My teammates are my priority. And if you are committed to your teammates, that's how you win championships. You got to stay in the present. You got to take every pitch as the most important pitch. You got to live every day as the most important day. And just focus on the overall goal as a team versus yourself. So a little bit of our timeline here. So I think our team meeting with our coaches has to come first. This is a preseason kind of thing. After that, we is the start of season. That's the end of February. So once we start that, we already need to have our baseline set. And, we need to ensure that nobody drops below that. The halfway point, we need to have more wins than losses. I think that's a big goal. And it's really only achievable if we're a close-knit group of guys that communicates well and provides feedback. I mean, odds are we're going to lose some games, but it's how you learn from those games and, what you take from them, how you become a great team. Then the next is obviously win a national championship. That's our goal as a team. That should be everyone's goal as a sports team. You want to win a national championship. And the end of it, get 5+ players drafted. I mean, these are high expectations and high goals, but I think if there is change and there's a lot of turnaround, then these goals are 100% a possibility. And I think we can achieve it, but there has to be change. There has to be change at the top. Starts with the manager, and then it bleeds out with leaders wanting to be leaders and demanding that change. And then all these goals are possible. That pretty much sums up our group project. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good day.